Hello everybody, Leo Babauta here, and in this video I'm going to talk about how to stay focused and productive during your day. Even though there's a lot going on, a lot of chaos, a million things calling for your attention, how do we actually stay focused and productive? Now those are not the most important things in life. Being happy and content, having good connections with meaningful people, having meaning in life, transcendence. There's just so much more than productive and focused. But that said, a lot of times we want to be focused and productive. They can actually empower the work that we're doing, create what we want to create in the world, and have us feel more on top of things. So let's talk about that. Focused on the most important tasks is really the thing that I would like to focus on for this video, because we can be focused but on like small things, right? So for example, like I'm answering every single message that's coming my way. I'm really focused on that, but the big thing that's actually going to move my big project forward, move something meaningful forward in my life, create an impact in the world, is not, I'm avoiding that. So I'm really focused, but on small things. That's not going to move anything, right? I can churn out a million tasks and not actually get anything meaningful done. So what we really want to be doing is focus on the high impact tasks. There's a term that I like. I didn't invent it, but it's called MITs, most important tasks. And so every day, what you can do is get clear on what are your most important tasks for today. In fact, the most important thing you can do is to set your MITs every single morning. So if you want to create a habit that's going to have you be more focused and productive, focused on the important things, the one habit that you can do is set a reminder first thing in the morning, sit down with a pen and paper or a blank document, and just write down your most important tasks. I'm going to talk about how to do that, but if you do that, you're going to already be winning the day in a big way. So how many most important tasks? Let's talk about how to actually create the most important tasks, then how to actually get focused on them, and then what do we do about all of the other stuff that's coming our way. So we're going to get to that, don't worry, because I imagine that you have a lot more than just a few tasks to do each day, and a lot of things calling for your attention, bunch of things on your plate, and so we're going to go over that. So how many tasks do we focus on? I like to shoot for 3 to 5. Now, if the things that you're focusing on are bigger things, then you don't have to do even 3. You could do 1 or 2 things. So for example, I am going to plow through my taxes all day long, or I'm going to only work on my book or coding my app, or only art today. And so if that's the one thing that you want to do, great. For your most important things, singularize it. So just most important thing. Now, if you want to do 2 things today, 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, great. But in general, for my life, and I found that this is true for a lot of people, 3 to 5 things is the most important things. Now, are those the only things you can do that day? No. But they're the ones you're going to try and focus on the most. Now, you might have other things, like maybe you need to do 10 things today, and it's just like non-negotiable. Those things need to get done. Great. For that day, you can say, I want to do all 10. But what if you got cut short and you could only do 5 of them? Could you choose 5 of those 10 things to do? And then focus on those first, and then do the next 5 that you have to do. So it isn't that you can only do those 5, it's that we're going to put those first just in case you can't do all 10. Even if you really think I need to do all 10 today or else, what if you can't? Would you have done it in that order? Maybe you do like the 10th most important thing first, and then the 9th, and then the 8th, and you get to number 6 and you finish that, and then you're like, crap, I'm out of time, or there's an emergency calling me away from work, and I didn't do the first 5 things on my list. And so if you didn't prioritize them, and you said, I'm just going to do all 10 today, and you didn't prioritize them, then you might actually go in the wrong order, the reverse order, and then get cut short for some reason. So I highly recommend that you pick the 3 to 5 things that are most important. If you did those 3, let's say it's 3, if I do just those 3 things today, I would consider this a big victory. Now, would I like to do more? Of course. So I'm going to try and do more than 3 things. But if you could only do 3 things today and consider it a huge victory, what would they be? Now, maybe 3 is too little, and you're like, I really, really would call this a victory if I get these 5 done. Great. So I'm not going to try and tell you can only choose 3. That can be too limiting. But choose between 3 and 5. And we want these to be high impact tasks. They're going to move something meaningful forward in your life. Maybe it's a really important client and you need to get that thing done for that client. Well, great. That's going to move that client forward, which is moving your work forward. Maybe it's something that your team needs to have done today. Otherwise, the whole team gets fired. Okay, great. That's a really important thing that's going to move something forward and is going to prevent a disaster. Okay, great. Maybe it's a project that's longer term, but if you always put that project off, this really meaningful, impactful thing is not going to happen. So pick something from that project, even if it's 10 or 20 minutes of that project, and put it on the list so that you can be moving that project forward most days. So what we want is something that's not just urgent where you might get fired or like really upset people, but that's actually going to make an impact long term. Like if you focused on this kind of task over the next few months or a year, it's going to make something meaningful happen, an impact that you really care about, not just keep your head above water. So that's the kind of thing that we're looking for. Now, not everything on that list needs to be that kind of thing. Maybe it's just like, I just want to have this thing. I want to do my art today. Great. Put that on the list. If you consider that a big victory, great. If you're really happy with doing your art over the long run, then great. Put this on your list for today. You don't have to put it on every single day, but for today, you would really like to have that on that list. Great. Okay, so 3 to 5 most important tasks. We want to create a list. You can start with a blank page on your notebook. If you have a notes app and you just make a new note called today, or put today's date. Today is August 5th, 2024. I'm dating this video now, but that's actually the day that I'm creating this video. So put today's date on there, or just put today at the top. And then write down your list, 3 to 5 things. Now, there is a caveat, which is you need to have some kind of list to draw that list from. So I highly recommend having a master list. Now, if you use a task manager program, let's say Todoist, or I don't know, whatever other things they have these days, things 3, or what else do they have? Tick is another one. I'm trying to think of the most famous ones. That Microsoft and Google both have one. So basically a task manager app, and great. Make a list called Today. And in fact, Things 3 has it, and a lot of these do. So have things that are tagged today, and that's your list of most important things. But you might have other things on today's list. And so you might have a little symbol, like a star or an asterisk, or what do you call those things? Exclamation point. Something that marks it as one of your 3 most important things. And if you can reorder them, put it at the top of the list. So, the 3 to 5 things, put the star or the exclamation mark, and then drag them to the top. And then you might have some other things on your today list that are not most important things, but they need to be below the most important things. But let's go back to the master list. I highly recommend, if you use a notebook system, if you use a notes system, if you use a task management system, have one list of all of your tasks. Now you can separate them by project if you like, or area like personal and fitness and relationships and work, or project for work. However you want to separate the master list is fine, but have them all on the same page. If you're using a bullet journal type thing, have a master list of all of your tasks. Notebook, if you have a notebook, 1 or 2 or 3 pages with all of your tasks written down. Now, if you don't have this already, great. Start a blank page and just start making it. Now, that might take a lot of time, and so you don't need to do that today. Today, on your first day, you might just think, what are the things, 3 to 5 things that I need to get done today? And just use your brain to remember what they are. But slowly, I would highly recommend having a master list. Start compiling it today and tomorrow and the next day, and just take 10 to 20 minutes each day to start compiling that master list. I actually think for most people, you can get it done in about 20 minutes. Have a pretty good basic list done in about 20 minutes. Add to the master list as you think of more things. Like I made a master list recently from scratch, but I'm like, oh, there's a note over here that had some tasks. I'm going to put it in there. Oh, a message from one of my team members. They gave me 3 things here. I'm going to take those and put them on there. So I'm finding them in little pockets all over the place and putting it in one big place. Another big place, bumped into the mic, another big place that this happens is in your email inbox or your messages. So if you have a messenger or some kind of instant messaging app that you use, let's say it's WhatsApp or Apple Messages or whatever, Google Messages, you might be messaging people there, and in those inboxes, you're going to have a bunch of tasks that you've forgotten about, and they're in there, and you're like, oh yeah, that message from so and so, I need to take that and put it on my master list. An email inbox is actually full of tasks. And so what I like to do when my inbox gets pretty full is I go in and I take out the tasks. And I'm like, oh, for this one, I need to do this and this. For this one, it's this. And for this one, it's this. And I put them on my master list. And then I star all of the ones with tasks. And in Gmail, you would star it. And then I archive them out of the inbox. And that clears out my inbox of all my tasks. I put them on the master list, star them, so I can always go back and find the email when I need to reply. Let's say I do the task and I need to go and reply to it and let them know I've done it. I will go back to the starred folder, reply to them, and unstar that. And so that way I have a starred folder with all of my tasks, emails, but my inbox doesn't have any task emails unless I haven't processed through it. Now, the inbox might actually start to get full again, and every few days I'll go through and just clear it out and pull all the tasks and put them on my master list. So now you've got this crazy master list that is like ridiculously long. Okay, fine. It's overwhelming. We don't need to look at that master list except once a day. Once a day, what we're going to do is go through that master list and pull out everything and put it on our today list. So again, if you use a notes app, right now I'm using Obsidian. You don't have to use Obsidian. There's a little bit of a learning curve with Obsidian. And if you get into Obsidian, I'll do another video on Obsidian, but if you get into Obsidian, don't get obsessed with all the plugins and themes and crap. Do the minimal amount possible. But whatever, use Roam Research, Apple Notes, Google Keep. There's a million note apps. Evernote, UpNote, there's a bunch. Tana. So you can use any app you want for notes. But what I like to do is take, for some of those, they have daily notes. So today's daily note, I'll just put my today list on there. And pull it from the master list. I have a note that's all my master list, all my tasks. And I look at that and I'm like, oh, let me copy and paste it over to my today list. And I'll put the ones that are the most important at the top, and then I'll separate it by a couple of spaces and put the next rest of my list on there for today. Now I know I might not finish that entire list for today, but This is a much smaller list, much more manageable than my master list. My master list is overwhelming, but I'm just going to look at that in the morning and pull from that and put it over here. And once a week, I might go through the master list and check things off or delete them, put new things on from my inbox or other places, and I kind of like clean it up once a week. But then I just don't really look at that most of the time. Once a day, I will look at it to make my today list, and then I close it and I don't look at it because it's overwhelming. And we're like, I need to finish the freaking master list. No, the purpose of the master list is not ever to get to done. In fact, if you ever get to done on your master list, you're done with life. You might just, get into your coffin and like get a good book because you're done. In fact, my aim is to go into my coffin, the end of my life, with a lot of stuff on my master list still to be done. That'll be an amazing way to finish my life. So don't think of the master list as something that needs to be finished ever. What it is a place to just keep everything in one place so that when you need to make your today list, you've got a handy place to go look like, oh yeah, let me look through everything. Yep. And sometimes what I'll do if I feel really energetic in the morning is I'll go through and I'll take things from the master list and put them on my today list. And then I'll go and put like next and then, soon. And so basically what I'm doing is queuing up things for tomorrow and the next day. Next might be stuff that if today was, let's say, Monday, next would be stuff I'm going to put for Tuesday. And then soon would be the things I'm going to put for Wednesday. And then soon-ish would be like for Thursday. So I'm queuing it up by saying like, oh, these are things that I want to make sure I get done this week, but they're not for today. So I'm going to just move them up into the queue. Now you don't have to do that. That's just something that I do when I'm like, yeah, let me get a little bit organized for this week. And like, here are the things that I want to get done this week, but I'm not going to do them today. I'm not going to worry about them today, but I like to just kind of queue them up, put them there. I might even put the days on there, but those are kind of loose. If I say Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, great. I'm just plopping things in there, but I might not finish Mondays. So at the end of Monday, what I'm going to do is going to take them and I'm going to put them in tomorrow's list. So actually at the end of each day, I work through my task list and I'll look at the things that are not done and I'll take them and I'll put them in tomorrow's today list. So I'll have like a Tuesday list and I'm like, okay, here are the things that I didn't get done on Monday. And here are the other things that I wanted to do on Tuesday. Yeah, how does that fit in? How do I want to organize them? What are the top most important things? So I'll actually at the end of Monday do Tuesday's list. And when I wake up on Tuesday, this list looks great. Is there anything that's missing? No, I'm ready to go. Do I want to look at my master list and organize that for a few minutes? Sure. Let me queue up things for tomorrow and Thursday and so forth. Okay, great. But now I just focus on today's list. So those are the lists. Now, how do we actually stay focused throughout the day? The thing that I want to encourage is that you look at your today list, look at the top most important thing, and you take that and you make a new document if you need to write or type a bunch of notes. You make a new document with just that, and you don't look at the rest of your today list. You don't look at your master list. You don't look at your email inbox or anything else. All you're doing is that one task. If it was a writing task, I need to compose an email or draft up a report. I'm going to write, and I might put the topic at the top of my new blank, fresh document. And I make that full screen and I don't look at anything else. I'm not thinking about what else is in my today list. I'm not thinking about replying to Bob or Mary or, whoever. All I'm worried about is this one task. I might set a timer. I might play some music. I might light a candle. I might get on a focus session with other people. But all I'm going to be doing is that one task. If I start getting distracted, I need to pause, get up, stretch, get a glass of water, and then refocus myself on this one task. Clear everything else out. Go full screen mode. Go monk mode. And I'm just here with this one task. And it becomes my world. It becomes an act of devotion. It becomes a way to express myself in this moment with something that I chose in the morning as something that's really important. And so I trust that version of myself that chose it in the morning. I just trust and I say, this is the next thing on my list. And I'm just going to pour myself into it. When I'm done with it, I go back to my today list. I move that item from the MITs section of my today list down into a done section of my today list, which is like a log. What did I do today? In fact, if it wasn't on my list, but I still did it, I still put it into the log. But I also move things from the top of the list down into the log. And then I look at the next thing. Maybe I need to take a break. So often I will take a break to eat, to take care of myself, to stretch, to like check in with my emails or my family, to move around, move my body. But then when I'm ready to work, what I do is I go back to my today list, go to the top most important thing, and then I close the today list and I focus only on that thing, and then repeat. If I finish my MITs, my most important things, I'll go to the rest of the today list and start working through those. So that's how I stay focused, and that's how you can actually work with your today list. Now, finally, I'm going to talk about all the other things that need to be done other than your MITs, your most important things. All the other things are the smaller things, so they're medium and smaller things. Emails, answering emails, financial tasks, admin tasks, chores and errands, responding in your work messaging app, that kind of thing. So those need to be done, but they're not your MITs. But if we only did the MITs, all of that other stuff is going to get ignored and it'll pile up and things are going to get bad. So we need to be doing those regular routine admin type things, the smaller tasks, the messages and emails, but we don't want that to take the priority. Because what some people do is they go that's their whole day is doing those smaller admin tasks and emails and messages. We don't want that, but we don't want to ignore them completely. So how do we actually make room for them? So what we want to do is create some structure or some space for them. So for example, if I need to be checking my email, I might think, how often do I want to do that? Well, I don't want to be living in my email inbox for me personally. So I'm like 3 times a day is good. Okay, great. I'm going to create little spaces 3 times a day during my day where I can actually go process my inbox, pull things out of the tasks out of the emails and put them either on my today list or my master list, star it, archive it, reply really quickly, or I just archive or trash things that I don't need to reply to. And I've now cleared out my inbox. Now, maybe I don't clear out the whole inbox, but if I'm like, you know what, I'm going to do 10 minutes of this, and I do 10 minutes and it's not done, I'll get back to it later because I have 3 times today of 10 to 15 minutes. So next time I do more, next time I do more. Did I finish my inbox? No? Fine. I devoted the amount of time that I wanted to, and I'll get to the rest tomorrow. And so that's how I do it. Same thing with work messages. I'll have some checkpoints during the day, and I'm like, I'd like to do work messages twice a day. So twice a day, I will take a break from my MITs, and I'll go in and check work messages and reply and so forth. Now, there's other things, finances. I like to block finances off once or twice a week. So let's say Fridays. Half a day is just like finances and admin. I just go through and do finances and admin. Now, there's other things I like to do in finances that are daily. So I like to go in and check my accounts and categorize things every day. And that takes 5 minutes. I'll just go in the morning. I do my email. I do my financial like tagging and filing kind of stuff. And it's not the bigger financial stuff. It's a 5-minute task. And I do that in the morning. What else? If you have errands to do, make a list of errands on your master list and then block off a time to go do it. Let's say it's Tuesday at 3 p.m. I'm going to go and do all my errands. It doesn't matter, but just put it on your calendar, and when it's time to go do it, look at your errands list before you go and do it. Plan out your errands list and then go and do it. chores around the house. Maybe you have something you do every day. I do a few things every day. Maybe you have things you do once a week. Let's say clean on Saturdays. So it's finding the spots for them. Now, you don't have to have the perfect spots right now, but eventually what you want to do is find the rhythm. How often do I need to check email and work messages? How often do I need to check my finances and clean my house? And you find a rhythm, and then you start to create spaces for them. And you can adjust those, as needed, but eventually you just kind of find places for those to be taken care of so that your life is being taken care of, but that isn't your main focus each day. So that's what I would say. Now, there's going to always be more things to do than you can do today, but we want to let go of that. It's like the idea of a master list ever needing to get done. No, you're going to have too many things to do than you can do today or even this week. If you had a clear week, you still couldn't clear out everything. That's okay, as long as you are creating the spaces for the things that matter. If you need a space to take care of, let's say, cleaning your dishes, when will you do that? Maybe it's right after you eat. Maybe it's once a day in the evening. But if you don't create the space and those don't get done, things get bad, right? It's the same thing. When are you going to exercise? You need to take care of your body. When are you going to prepare your food? So you do need to find the time for those. But if you start to find a time and a regular rhythm, make the spaces for them, your life gets taken care of. And then what you really want to do is take the majority of your time and block it off for your MITs. That's what I would say in terms of dealing with overwhelm and taking care of everything that needs to get taken care of, and then creating focus for your life. If you're having trouble with distractions or social media or any other things, comment below and I can make a follow-up video talking more about how to actually stop yourself from being distracted. But I'd love to hear from you what your problems are. Thank you. If you like this video, please subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. It helps with the algorithm in YouTube so that other people can find this video. And share it with people. Anyone who could use some Zen habits in their life, anyone who could use some focus and some productivity, share this video with them. Thank you.